Mayor Johnson, I already asked you, you don't have a hard number. And if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people.
Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us.
I want to speak directly to New Yorkers who have for too long been misled and misinformed about the true state of our city's finances. I will be blunt. New York City is facing a serious fiscal crisis. There is a massive fiscal deficit in our city's budget to the tune of at least $12 billion. We did not arrive at this place by accident. This crisis has a name and a chief architect. In the words of the Jackson 5, it's as easy as ABC. This is the Adams budget crisis. In 2025, under the banner of what he called the best budget ever, former Mayor Eric Adams handed the next administration a poisoned chalice. He systematically under-budgeted services that New Yorkers rely on every single day: rental assistance, shelter, and special education, while quietly leaving behind enormous gaps for the future. And knowing his time in office was likely coming to an end, Mayor Adams chose political self-preservation over fiscal responsibility.
We are back with another one on the Unaffiliated Mind. And today we have to dive into this clip regarding New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani, to where this socialist mayor will be positioning himself to really just come out on top within everything. Now, as you saw from the prior clips, ex-New York Mayor Eric Adams, one could argue that he tried to take responsibility of the migrant issue by reducing costs of feeding and housing illegal aliens up to $2.4 billion. Additionally, he decreased the spending in some government programs as well, too. And you can see that there is a stark difference between both him and the current mayor, Zohran Mamdani. But one glaring factor is that Adams is willing to reduce the government spending, while Mamdani wants to create a socialist utopia, which I could see that could try to rally his base by positioning him as the victim to create this drama between him and Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul. This is probably the reason why she gave the at least $1.5 billion in budget relief to assist with the claimed $7 billion deficit. Now, this is on the heels of the $1.7 billion commitment that the New York Governor Hochul agreed to support Mayor Mamdani's universal child care initiatives. That is for citizens and non-citizens. Now, what is interesting is that there is a concerted effort to bring more family daycare providers to New York and to really expand that across New York, which is eerily similar to a few other blue states, such as Minnesota, Washington, and Massachusetts. Now, let's go ahead and watch more of this unfold as Mayor Mamdani and his team is at the New York joint budget hearing, to where they'll be able to start laying out the preliminary aspects of their budget plan. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Once the honeymoon is over, which I think you've just felt, you may well prefer 3 minutes to 10. Speaking of which, it's mid-February. So I will respectfully say that the time for blaming past mayors and governors is past. We need to hear the details of your plan. And it's good to hear your revenue proposals.
So my question to you is, would you support a sweeping across the board tax reduction for middle class, hardworking New York citizens?
What I will tell you is there's no doubt in my mind that we need to reduce fees. It's why it's one of the focuses when it comes to our approach to small businesses.
What's your plan to raise funds yourself so that you're not asking New York State to bail you out?
So just to be clear, Great Recession, and we spoke a few weeks ago with New Yorkers about the fact that we were looking at a $12 billion fiscal gap. Now, in the time since then, through a lot of the work that we have done internally, both by updating economic forecasts as well as taking into account the increased Wall Street bonuses and using in-year reserves and pursuing an aggressive savings agenda that does not inhibit the city's ability to deliver services, we've been able to reduce what was a $12 billion fiscal gap over 2 years into a $7 billion fiscal gap over 2 years.
We're talking about free busing, free childcare, so that's pretty ambitious. And with that budget gap, I know, and I heard you say we want to increase taxes. Everyone knows that. You want more money from the state. I think that's pretty evident, and we get that. But you do recognize, from being here, the state is in serious fiscal trouble as well.
Now, watch ex-Mayor Adams' responses as far as how he's walking down Mamdani in regards to his allegations that, hey, there was no surplus, everything was a deficit. Let's read here to where he says, facts have a way of getting in the way when slogans replace math and blame replaces leadership. Bond raters gave my administration one of the strongest credit ratings in NYC history because we governed with discipline, not fantasy economics. He's taking them jabs, boy. He said, I didn't leave a budget hole. I left over $8 billion in reserves. Only someone who can't read a balance sheet will call that a crisis. Every budget passed under my administration was approved by the city council, including Mayor Mamdani's city council comrades. And thank God I was there, because their reflex has always been to spend first and ask questions later. We dragged the city out of COVID and absorbed a $9 billion migrant crisis without layoffs, raising taxes, torching our credit, or bankrupting working New Yorkers. And here's the part socialists hate saying out loud. Free is a lie. Every so-called free program comes with a price tag, and someone always pays for it, which is true. Someone does always have to pay for it. Eric Adams is trolling Mamdani. He's saying 4 weeks later, and Mayor Mamdani suddenly finds $5 billion. Give him another month, maybe the other $7 billion appears too. All jokes aside, we were right. The $12 billion deficit was never real. He knew it. It was a scare tactic to pressure the state into raising taxes. Nothing is free. Someone always pays. True. Someone always pays. Without further ado, this brings us to our present day with this clip here, to where Mayor Mamdani starts to reveal his preliminary plan and the options he's willing to take in order to get his socialist utopia. Let's watch.
Mayor Mamdani is saying that if the state doesn't tax the rich, they'll have to raise property tax here in the city.
And as political reporter Marcia Kramer explains, it's all part of his new spending plan that he calls a last resort.
But I want to be clear. $5.4 billion is still a very steep mountain to climb.
In laying out his $127 billion fiscal plan that, despite the gap, increases spending by over $14 billion, the mayor offered a strategy that offers Governor Hochul and state lawmakers a Hobson's choice. Either pass election year tax hikes on the rich and corporations, or he will raise property taxes on everyone, homeowners, building owners, and corporations that own property here.
The property tax increase, if the city was forced to do so, would be at a 9.5% increase. This is something that we do not want to do, and this is something that we are going to utilize every single option to ensure does not come to pass.
But to some, it was a cynical attempt to leverage his popularity to wring more money out of Albany. Facing re-election, Governor Hochul has already ruled out taxing the rich, even though, by Mamdani's calculations, it's only 33,000 New York City residents. And today, the governor said she was against a property tax.
I'm not supportive of a property tax increase. I don't know that that's necessary. But let's find out what is really necessary for him to close that gap.
I pointed that out to the mayor, asking, I wonder if we have a situation where this is a clash between ideology and reality, and if faced with the fact that you won't get those taxes from Albany, would you really, really, really raise property taxes here in New York City?
This is not a conversation on the basis of ideology. Yeah, this is a conversation about a fiscal crisis. And when faced with this crisis, the question is, who should pay these taxes? I believe that it should be the wealthiest New Yorkers, the most profitable corporations.
Councilman Simcha Felder, a veteran of both Albany and the city council, predicted that there would not be a property tax hike.
I think that there are a lot of tricks that magicians, that, and past mayors, including Bloomberg and Giuliani, figured out at the end. And I look forward to the current mayor succeeding at that as well.
So you're looking for tricks and magic?
Yes, and it occurs. And it occurs year after year.
So for the record, this was just the mayor's proposed spending plan. The actual budget won't be done until after the state budget is finalized this spring. And if Councilman Felder is right, someone is going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Tricks and magic. I mean, a lot of people are sweating over this right now in the city. It could really hit wallets hard.
It really are, yeah.
All right.
I'll have that story at 6.
Okay, can't wait. Thank you, Marcia.
Still,
I like what that councilman said, is that there's a lot of magicians out here like pulling tricks. Mamdani is showing you all essentially what he's willing to do to get what he wants with his budget, with the agenda that he wants to do, so that it can fulfill the campaign promises that he ran on, because he knows that she's up for re-election. And Hochul's already conceded to a few of the things that Mamdani has wanted. But I think Mamdani wants everything. He's like, hey, you may concede on these things, but this ain't over yet. Pretty much he's saying is that somebody's going to get taxed. Like, it don't matter who it is, but somebody's going to get taxed. And those that voted for him, this is what you're going to get. It's crazy how everything's playing out, because New York is only in month 2 of Mamdani's era. And the links he's willing to go to in order to bring about his plan it should scare a lot of New Yorkers that didn't vote for him. Hell, it should scare those that did vote for him. It's like, wait a minute, you talking about property tax? That's not what you told us. And again, I know that Governor Hochul and Mamdani both know it is her election year, so he's going to try to apply that pressure to her this year. Now, could it backfire? And could New York swing to, Republican candidate Bruce Blakeman as the governor? I don't think so. I think New York probably will stay put, unless if Mamdani continues to go the route he's going. I think that may prompt the voter base in New York, even from an independent standpoint, to vote for Blakeman. But there hasn't been a Republican governor in almost 20 years, so I think that's a long shot, but it could happen. I mean, the infighting is real. I mean, you see that with Jasmine Crockett in Tallarico. I mean, that infighting over there for the primary is insane. So, but anyways, though, get at me in the comments. Please be safe. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share an Unaffiliated Mind. Until next time, deuces. Yes, sir.